Mobility seems to be the theme of this conference, and I'm being asked the question if agencies will show geographic mobility and start moving their headquarters to Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Vikram Sakhuja, and the reason I think I'm being asked this question is because I recently took over as a global CEO of Maxis, and I happen to be based in Mumbai. And if I have to think about this question, I actually wondered about the relevance of this question, but then I figured it's because virtually every agency of worth its salt seems to be headquartered either in London or New York. So my short answer is that I actually don't believe that it is essential for London or New York to be bases for global agencies anymore. I actually think we live in a boundaryless world, and our business strategies and our structures should really flow from that. So in fact, I will go one step further and say that increasingly for a media agency rooted in the digital or global age, where the agency is headquartered is increasingly going to become less relevant to how it is run. And this is where I just want to explore this issue by looking at our four stakeholders. We all exist for media owners, for our clients, for our consumers, and of course our colleagues. Now, since the beginning, media owners have been typically highly decentralized in their operations. Now, whether we're talking TV, print, radio, out of home, and even now digital, most of the transactions and the relationships have been largely local. I've yet to meet, of course, a global media CEO who's wanted to align his headquarters with that of a global media owner. It doesn't happen. That's because over 95% of all transactions are local. Clients, on the other hand, are a totally different story. They're the ones who give us our business, and mirroring client structures and actually fostering key client relationships is the heart of what we have to do. So if this is the case, maybe we should start looking at just what the new client world order is looking like. I have a friend sitting out here right in the front row, Anurag Batra. He fed me some very interesting data from a London School of Economics analysis. Those black dots that you see on the charts are basically economic centers of gravity. They've been arrived at by coming out with a weighted average GDP of the world. So in 1980, it was somewhere in the Atlantic, and by about 2008, it had reached a little east of Helsinki and Bucharest. Now the same thing, and those are the red dots, if you start extrapolating them, by about 2050, it should be somewhere between China and India. Nothing that I've said is pretty new. What is clear is that the economic center of gravity is inexorably moving towards the east. My own analysis of the advertising piece is a little bit more pedestrian, but I think it's still equally telling. I looked at the RECMA's worldwide media agency billings, and say out of the $230 billion that apparently go through media agencies, about 37% or about 86 billion are actually coming from the top 100 international advertisers, defined as the people who've got businesses in 3 or more of the top 12 countries. Now, I looked at that list, and about maybe 60% of those would have been businesses rooted in US and UK, and maybe about half of them were those which actually took global agency decision-making decisions from those centers. So if you have to just do a quick back of the envelope, we're really talking only about 12-13% of the global media agency world order being decided out of London and New York, in a manner of speaking. So if, purely from that standpoint, I have to have a, say, headquarter or a center in Asia, I'm probably addressing at least that much of the market in a considerably less cluttered environment. The part from clients to consumers, now this is where it gets a bit curious. What could be the possible link between a media agency headquarter and consumers? Today, I think it's pretty obvious that we are living in a mobile, pretty much always on connected world, where consumers are pulling in content and don't really passively receive our messages. Media agencies not only have the ability now, they actually have the imperative to further mine and deep dive into the consumer data, and actually through contextual and behavioral methods, actually be targeting consumers that much more granularly. Now, brands may be global, and we all know that, but consumers' behavior is very, very local. if you have to really look at a headquarter, and a headquarter is really seen to be a nerve center, then I would actually just worry a little bit if all the neurons in your consumer understanding nerve center are based in, say, New York or London, because even though you might be doing a global piece of work, willy-nilly you get influenced by just the kind of consumers which are operating in those markets, and that, I think, biases the kind of thinking and the development that we do. At this point in time, let me tell you about something called Metalworks. Metalworks is Maxis's creative technology R&D unit. Now, they actually do some pretty cool stuff. They found that their temperature changes in Australia leads to an onset of flu. Of course, that was known. But what they did was use that to actually develop an algorithm to actually predict when flu is going to be. And then for a client, or for a cold tablet, they could actually place ads exactly before the flu onset was going to happen. And in the process, obviously, it was about, 70% more effective. We also had about 25% less budgets to do it in. So effectively, it was a very cool way of doing it. Now, the same guys in also Asian markets, they have this tool, a nice, very cool phone app, which allows you to go with people who are not really clued in with search, SEM, or search engine marketing, and who can actually sit with a client and try to see for, say, various AdWords, what is the kind of budget that you can actually do on SEM. You don't need a search specialist right out there when you're talking to a client. Very simple, very practical, and also very effective. Now, for us in Metalworks, we've decided to base it in Singapore. And why is that? We think that it's a east moves to west, so life coming a full circle kind of thing for Metalworks. We find that in Southeast Asia, we've got a large number of clients, we've got a large number of markets. There's a high degree of curiosity about what media can do for you. And at this point in time, there's also this need to do this in a cost-efficient way. We are able to do lab work, i.e. develop prototypes, and then if they work, scale it up and actually make global and regional solutions much more effectively and efficiently out of, say, something based in Singapore. Then just imagine if you were doing it in New York. In New York, the scale is everything so staggering that if any one client, for them to get into lab and do alpha and beta work, would be absolutely daunting, and we probably won't even get to first base. So there is a thought about actually doing some of the development coming from here. Okay, if we say at one level, where there's media owners, increasingly now clients, center of gravity, and even consumers for that matter, you really don't need a New York or a London. The question I'm asking is, do you actually need a physical headquarter? Now, to answer that, I'll actually take you through the journey when pretty much I was, say, given this job and appointed as a CEO. For me, when I was given this job, I'm told that Maxis has to be a growth engine for Group M and WPP, and probably given our relatively much smaller size versus our sister agencies, probably be the driver of the growth for our parent company. Now, if that has to happen, I just sort of came to this kind of analysis as to where exactly I was doing a sort of, shall we say, a status check or a reality check. Maxis came together as a global network some 4 years ago. We are right now present in about 55 markets. We've got about close to 2,000 colleagues, and as per RECMA, we're billing about $7.8 billion. We have roughly a third split, 33 between the Americas, Asia, and Europe. Now, our top 8 markets are USA, UK, Italy, Germany, Russia, India, China, and Australia. So, we are actually pretty balanced across the world, probably much more balanced as compared to some of our rival networks. We are a top 7 agency in markets like India, Italy, Russia, and UK, and between 10th and 15th in most other markets. Our growth has been historically sourced by a number of prominent local multi-market clients like L'Oreal, NBC Universal, Huawei, Jetstar, Nokia, Vodafone, British Telecom, Telecom Italia, UPS, the Tata Group, Hero. And also it's been balanced by a few global clients like SC Johnson, the Fiat, Barclays, Church & Dwight. So we've got a largely local kind of business with a fair amount of important global business, which is sort of balancing it. We have been awarded Global Media Network of the Year by Campaign. In 2011, we've been called the fastest growing network for a few years, and we've been one of Ad Age's agencies to watch for the last 2 years. Now, why is this preamble necessary? It's a shameless plug, and awareness is always nice to give, but that's not the point. For me, this was the perspective or the background with which I took this job, and I literally had to think, now if I have to drive this game forward, where should I base myself? It was a real question. So play along with me for a moment. Now, like I said, if I have to be the growth engine, how am I going to get this growth? Now, this is where I'm going to start making a case for organically developed business strategy, deciding these important decisions rather than New York, London. In the case of Maxis, I found that we had an ability to delight clients perhaps a little bit more than others. We got this out of client satisfaction studies, and this is a global study where on a scale to 1 to 10, our clients are asked to recommend how likely they are to recommend a Maxis to a friend or a colleague. Our referral rating currently seems to be 15% higher than the market or the industry average. We're aiming for 10 out of 10, and that's our vision. And our important point is that we want to focus on this and see how we get there. And currently, it was important for me to see what are the reasons as to why we are slightly higher. And we pinned it down to 2 things. One is that we found that the kind of people that we hire is what we call PACE. This is a certain DNA that we call in Maxis. It's passionate, agile, collaborative, and entrepreneurial. There's the entire nimbleness about what happens in Maxis, and I think that's important, and clients value it. The second is this entire thing of what we call leaning into change. I think it's pretty clear that technology, data, and consumer control has taken this media game way beyond just ad placements and idea-based communication plans to actually consumers shaping the message, and in fact, media becoming a retail channel in itself. While all of us realize that, I see that we in Maxis are making a better effort at understanding and managing this change because we do it market by market. This is encouraged top-down by, say, global people like me, but it's breathing and living locally. Which, takes us to our 4th stakeholder, that of the colleagues. I think technology has allowed us to become bottoms up. The role of a headquarter is what? It's end of the day to have some kind of direction, it's supposed to have some kind of best practice, and it's supposed to have a way in which you can actually devolve it through your system. We use technology shamelessly to be able to do that. We've got a social portal called I Am Maxis that allows all our people to source and share ideas and thinking from across our networks in real time. So, we have a 24/7 Maxis global dialogue going on at any time. Also, everybody has a sort of planning tool and planning process. We call ours Relationship Media. We also have a tool underlying that called Relationship Media Genius. And the nice part about this is that it really drives collaboration across markets by allowing our planners instant access to the entire strategic and creative work that we do on any client across the entire network. We have used technology to sort of become boundary-less, and it is very, very unlimiting and very, very exciting. Coming from this, and this was one pretty strategic call that we took. We said we want to foster this, and I told you in the beginning, our shape of the epicenter of our business, largely local with some amount of global, and we want to foster that. We would like to be called a global network of local agencies, and we feel this is pretty significant. We understand that even for global clients, individual market realities vary and they must be respected. This takes the focus away from the so-called mythical center or headquarter or to the local leadership. If we can strengthen this local leadership and we can articulate a client proposition at a global or regional level, we believe we will deliver what we promise, as simple as that. Put that way, my job as a CEO is pretty clear-cut. I need to have a vision of where the growth's going to come from and what's going to get us there. And after that, it's just a simple case of pointing some very highly talented and motivated leaders in the right direction to basically unlock client value. It is about ensuring that Maxis, the brand and the product, gets seen in the right places, and it's about seeking out clients who want a breath of freshness in their approach to media. It's literally as simple as that. Now, if that's going to be the case, then in that case, how do you want to structure yourself? The way we structured, these are the guys who actually run the company. We've got about global leads in marketing and business development, planning, tools, effectiveness and technology, trading and talent. And these are the people who support our regional market CEOs based in the Americas, UK, Europe, and Asia. So it's a matrix structure, and that's how they're supposed to support each other. Nothing that I've said so far has necessitated the fact that all of them must be centered or based in one physical location. In fact, out of the global exco of 12, we've got 3 people in the US, 2 in India, 2 in Singapore, 4 in London, and 1 in Italy. Ladies and gentlemen, I increasingly, like maybe 10, 15 years back, we used to talk about the paperless office, and it's now a reality. I actually think a physical headquarters is going to become an archaic concept sometime in the future. Leadership today is going to be so much more about rallying teams around a cause, and our cause is actually delivering client 10 out of 10, and everything else is really going to follow from that. In my talk, I have tried to debunk the belief that physical headquarters are necessary. I've made a case for business strategy, deciding structures, and outlined how globally dispersed groups across the world can actually drive success in the marketplace or at the coalface. So why Mumbai? Well, I need to have a home, and Mumbai has been my home for about 20 years now. It's also conveniently connected to most of the world, although the US gets a bit tiring. From a client network standpoint, I actually see more personal opportunity in being able to make a difference in Asia and Europe, and I'll leave it more to my powerhouse colleagues sitting in UK and US to actually develop the networking out there. So I think we've got it pretty balanced. And one more thing, and this I think I'll say is significant, and I've actually picked this up from my boss, Martin Sorrell. I actually like Asia because of the entire optimism in this place. I think it's serious, and its mood is really, really infectious. Maxis today has great momentum. We have huge plans to grow across the markets, including economies which are very, very challenged. And it is important that every morning when you wake up, you're optimistic and you're thinking growth and you're thinking a high degree of vibrancy. The passion, entrepreneurship, and the agility of Asia leads me to believe that the spirit of Asia is very, very much the spirit of Maxis brand, and it will be a privilege to really champion this agency from here. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you for yours, Vikram Sakhuja from Maxis.